welcome to Kamath Astrology. Today's topic is Pitru Dosha Decoded. So in this video we will try to understand what is Pitru Dosha, what is ancestral karma, what are the remedies for Pitru Dosha, how it affects us, and for how many generations the Pitru Dosha lasts. So we will look at all these aspects in this video. So first, what is meant by Pitru? Pitrus refer to our ancestors. For example, our deceased parents, deceased grandparents, father of your grandparent, and so on. Dosha refers to a defect. So Pitru Dosha is actually an ancestral defect. Now it is not really a curse, but it is a karmic depth which arises when our forefathers' souls are unsatisfied. Now the soul may be restless due to unfinished duties, certain negative karma, or lack of proper Shraddh rituals which were not performed for the deceased soul. Vedic texts like the Garud Puran says that unsatisfied ancestors can impact the lives of the descendants by causing obstacles, delays in marriage, miscarriage, financial problems, and there are many other problems also which can be listed. So what happens is these souls cannot move to higher realms. They linger in our invisible world, trapped between life and death, until they find their peace. Their pain is going to echo in the lives of their descendants. So what causes Pitru Dosh? The most common reason is improper last rites or Shraddha of the deceased ancestor. Ancestors who die unnaturally, for example, they commit suicide, they are murdered, or they pass away unexpectedly in an accident at a very young age. Ancestors who have committed grave sins such as abuse, violence, deceit, those ancestors who have committed neglect of elderly or disrespected their good parents, and anger within the family members, that also can lead to Pitru Dosh. So karmically, the soul's unfulfilled desires or wrongdoings will affect the energy of their lineage, and this karmic residue continues unless it is consciously healed. Now all of us inherit our physical features, our body from our ancestors. For example, the son may look a bit like his mother or his father. In many cases, the child might look like his grandparent. So basically, the child has inherited certain physical features. But science tells us that we inherit the DNA and the genes of our ancestors, and DNA as well as genes carries memory. So the trauma faced by your ancestors, the dissatisfaction faced by your ancestors, that is stored in the form of memory in your genes or DNA. And that is why you find that there are certain generational curses. Like I have seen a family where every woman died of cancer for the last 4 generations. So that is an ancestral curse that has been running through the family. Now modern science talks about something called as epigenetic memory. So the emotional trauma, addiction, phobias of your ancestors can pass through DNA for up to the next 7 generations. Your genes may not carry only the physical traits, but they will also carry the emotional, psychological, and karmic imprint of the deeds done by your ancestors. In short, what I want to tell you is your birth is not random. You have been born to resolve certain karmic patterns in your lineage. Now, many a times this Pitru Dosha is confused with black magic. People feel they are under the influence of black magic, but it is not so. It is actually Pitru Dosha which is ruining the family life. So what are the common signs of Pitru Dosh? One is repeated miscarriage or infertility. Second can be delayed or broken marriages in the family. Multiple divorces within the generations or within the family. Financial downfall despite extreme hard work. Addictions, mental illness running through generations in the family. Children dying at a very young age, or in some cases, the families do not get children at all. Mysterious accidents, sudden illness, lot of legal cases, constant hurdles in everything you do. And the last one is generational diseases. Like I explained to you, I have seen a generation where 4 women in continuous generations, they faced cancer. So now think of it like this, that your ancestors are the branches of a big tree. Now imagine that the branches are dry, broken and damaged, then the whole tree is going to suffer. So if your great grandfather went through war, depression or betrayal, then his pain, his memory, his trauma, that can literally live in your DNA. And scientists have traced that patterns of stress, addiction, even grief that can run through 7 generations. Now, some of you might wonder, where is this concept of 7 generations coming from? So now I will explain this in depth. Let us consider that the first generation is a husband and a wife. The second generation is their children and any siblings they have. Now this second generation will inherit 50% of the chromosomes from their parents, that is from the first generation. So they share 50% of the genes. Now the third generation, that is the grandchildren, they will inherit 25% of the genes from their grandparents, that is from the first generation. Likewise, the fourth generation will share 12.5% of the genes from the first generation. The fifth generation will share 6.5% of the genes from the first generation. Sixth generation will share 3.125% of the genes from the first generation. Seventh generation shares 1.56% of the genes from the first generation. And 8th generation will share less than 1% of the genes of the first generation. So as per the Indian traditions, starting from the origin, that is the first generation, the family relationships such as cousins are counted till the 7th generation. That is why marriage within the same family is not encouraged till the 7th generation. Marriage between cousins is also not encouraged till the 7th generation because there is a possibility of congenital disease in children who will be born due to a non-dominant gene suddenly becoming dominant. Now all this is science which I am explaining to you. But from the 8th generation, it is not considered as family, and that is why the relationship of husband and wife is said to be of 7 lives. The first 3 generations are called Sapind, which literally means from the same lump of rice. This is because a lump of rice is offered to the 3 nearest ancestors, and from the 4th to the 7th generation they are not Sapind but Bhau Bandaki. Some of us will remember that the Pandits ask us to take the name of 3 preceding generations while doing certain pujas. After 7 generations, the relation is not of the family, but it is considered to be of the same lineage. And this is known as Gotra. So the above information that helps us to understand the logic behind certain traditions. But this is rarely understood properly. So that is why this Pitru Dosha is said to be carried till the next 7 generations. So in this picture, I have tried to show you 7 generations through which the Pitru Dosha is carried down. Now, what are the planetary combinations that cause Pitru Dosha? First, let us understand Pitru refers to ancestor or a father-like figure. So, everything on this earth that originates from the sun's light. So, sun is considered as the universal father. Any affliction to the sun, that is said to cause Pitru Dosha. So if sun is with malefic planets like Saturn, Rahu or Ketu, or even aspected by Saturn, Rahu or Ketu, it is said to cause Pitru Dosha. Now in the horoscope, the ninth house represents your guru or father, and the natural ninth house is ruled by Jupiter or Guru, Brihaspati. So if the ninth house is afflicted by malefics such as Mars and Rahu, or if Jupiter comes in conjunction with Rahu, Ketu, Saturn, especially in the ninth house, then it is a strong Pitru Dosha. If the fifth house, which represents your Purva Punya or the merits from your past life, that is afflicted by malefics, it shows the blockage of ancestral blessings. Suppose Rahu is in the second, fifth, ninth or 10th house, that will also cause problems from your ancestors. Sun plus Rahu in any sign, especially in Cancer or Leo signs, that causes a strong Pitru Dosha. Now if you have Rahu in the first house, say you are born with a Taurus ascendant and you have Rahu in the first house, it means you are an ancestor who has been reborn back into this family. You have chosen to be reborn back into this family. See, Taurus is the sign of wealth, material pleasures, and Rahu is very obsessive. So basically, when you have Rahu in the first house in Taurus or in the Vrishab zodiac, it means that you are an ancestor who has been reborn into your family and your only desire is to enjoy material life. So 7 generations marks a karmic cycle. Each generation inherits a part of the previous generation's unresolved energy. Think of it like emotions and karmic DNA. Unless this is consciously healed, the pattern continues silently and powerfully. Pitru Dosha is not really a punishment, but it is either your ancestors seeking help to move to a higher realm, or they want to resolve certain unresolved karma of theirs through you. So think of it that your ancestors have done certain bad karma and a portion of that karma comes back to you as a payback, because you have also inherited your body, your genes, your physical features from your ancestors. And in addition, you have also inherited their karmic trauma, their bad deeds, which you may have to repay for in a small or a big way. Now, let us assume that in this life I have a fight with someone. I am extremely angry with that person, and in a fit of anger, I curse that person to be born as a blind person in his next life. Now, what happens is, because I have given this curse, I will be reborn in a certain next life with a defect in my eyes. And till I don't resolve this issue, I will continue to face that eye problem in my subsequent life. So this is also a kind of Pitru Dosh where you have cursed someone and that curse comes back to you till you learn to forgive unconditionally. Suppose out of your anger, you curse a person to have a particular disease. Then in your subsequent lives, you will be reborn and you may get that disease and you will have to bear the suffering in the form of that disease in your life. So this is also one manifestation of Pitru Dosha. Now I will tell you certain cases of Pitru Dosha where I'll go to case 1 where a family faced multiple miscarriages over 3 generations. Now when the chart was examined, the horoscope was examined, it showed malefic 5th house with Rahu and afflicted moon in that house. So whenever Rahu is in the 5th house and it is either with the sun or the moon there, person will face trouble from his children. He will not get good children. This is the result of Pitru Dosh. There will be no peace in the house. There will be fights between the father and the son if you have malefic Rahu in the 5th house. So for this case, a Pitru Shanti Puja was performed during Mahalaya Amavasya. And finally, a healthy child was born within 1.5 years. Case number 2, a family saw recurring court cases and property loss. Now in that horoscope, the 9th house lord was with Ketu and Saturn was aspecting the sun. So after annual tarpan and donation to old age homes, that pattern was slowly dissolved. So whenever you have Pitru Dosh in your chart, whenever you see the sun afflicted by Rahu, Saturn or Ketu, definitely you have Pitru Dosh. If the 9th house in your chart is afflicted by malefics, there is Pitru Dosh. If Jupiter is afflicted by Rahu, Saturn, Ketu, again there is Pitru Dosh. Now many people have this question, why will my ancestor want to harm me? So in reality, it is not that your ancestor wants to harm you. Rather, he is looking forward to move to a higher realm. And to enable him to move to a higher realm, you have to do certain karma. Because that will relieve him from the negative karma which he had performed in his life. So sometimes, because of this Pitru Dosh, you might see your ancestors very sad in your dreams, or you might see your ancestors walking near a river with a very sad look or a gloomy face. So what that means is certain karma is unresolved for that ancestor and he is asking you to give him relief. Now this particular case where in your dream you see the ancestors walking with a very sad face nearby a river, it is quite possible that your ancestor had drowned in that river or committed suicide in that river, and because of that he has not got liberation and now he is seeking liberation from your actions. Now you will find that the family in which parents are respected, ancestors are respected, they are worshipped, that family invariably prospers. There won't be too much fights or problems in that family. The next generations will do well. Business will flourish. But in families where there is Pitru Dosha, you will find a lot of problems, lot of clashes, lot of property disputes, lot of diseases, lot of divorces, and lot of generational diseases. So what are the remedies for Pitru Dosh? Now the first remedy is to feed crows and dogs with good food. Why? Because crows represent our ancestors. Whatever you feed to the crows, that is said to reach the ancestors. Next is perform Tarpan and Shraddh rituals, especially during Pitru Paksha or Amavasya. That is said to appease your ancestors. Pitru Paksha is a period when ancestors are said to be closest to the earth or they are allowed to visit the earth. So if you perform Tarpan, Shraddh rituals during this period, it is said to give great merit. Second thing, offer food and donations in the name or memory of your ancestors to cows, Brahmins or needy people, especially on Saturdays. Next remedy which you can do is recite the Pitru Gayatri mantra 108 times daily, or you can also recite mantras such as Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya or Om Shri Ramaya Namaha. Ram is said to be from Surya Vansh and therefore worshipping Ram removes Pitru Dosha. Because like I explained to you earlier, Sun is the universal father and Lord Ram is a descendant of the Sun. Next and the most important thing is visit Gaya in Bihar or Trambakeshwar in Nasik for doing Shraddh rituals, especially for your deceased ancestors or parents. Last thing, do selfless service for the elderly or the people living in orphanages. And if you cannot do most of these things, you can still light an earthen lamp with sesame oil in the southern direction on every Amavasya day. Lastly, before I conclude, I would like to emphasize on three things. First is always worship your Kuldevta, visit your Kuldevta temple if possible with your family at least once a year. If you have a Daiva, then worship that Daiva also. Try to visit the shrine of that Daiva once a year. And finally, worship your ancestors. Do donations in their name periodically to Brahmins, cows, and needy people. So, if you have Pitru Dosh in your chart, do try to resolve it. Do not leave it unresolved, because an unresolved Pitru Dosh causes lot of clashes, fights, obstacles, and disturbance in your regular family life. Before we conclude, I would just like to say that your ancestors are not there to harm you. Rather, they are simply demanding your attention and saying that you give a bit of respect to them and help them to move to the higher realms. So, friends, that's all from my end. I hope you liked this video. Our contact details are given on this slide. You can visit our website astroseva.tripod.com to know more about us. You can also reach us over email at astrosevaworld@yahoo.com. So friends, thanks a lot. Bye. Take care and stay safe.